Good afternoon. So this is part 4 of preparing your fig trees for winter. And it's time to clean out the garage and move the trees in. So I've got two primary methods. The first is my lawn tractor with a cart behind it. And the second is this hand cart. And the important thing with this hand cart is the extra sized wheels for going over the lawn, as well as this extension so that you can put some of the larger pots on it. These are the two ways that I like to move my trees into the garage. So let me go ahead and show you those. Alright, so the carrier behind the lawn tractor is really only good for trees that I can lift. Something like this Improved Celeste is just going to be too heavy, same with that Pretto, to lift into there without killing my back. So those ones I'll get with the hand cart. But all these smaller trees, I should be able to get into this carrier behind here and make my life a little bit easier. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so first tree is my Martinenca ramata, and I cut the twine and the wire that was holding it to this piece of rebar. I've also got to get the watering drip lines out, and the problem you'll run into with these, as you can see here, is the tree grows around them, making it very difficult to get them out. You can see this one is totally buried here. There we go. And drip lines out. Again, make sure you've got your trees labeled and tagged. Tags have a tendency to disappear, so make sure you label your bark as well. And I gotta go ahead and put this tree into the carrier. Alright, first tree in the carrier, whole bunch more to go. This is gonna take a while. Okay, the first group of trees are loaded. Time to bring it over to the garage. Okay, so I've got the fig trees unloaded here in the driveway, and I've separated them into two groups. These ones on the left are ones that need to be either up potted or root pruned, and the ones on the right are the ones that are not needing root pruning at this time or up potting. So I'm going to leave these here because what I want to do is I want to get some of the larger trees in. I want to put the larger trees in the garage first once Teresa's done cleaning it here, so that I can then stack some of the smaller trees on top of the big ones in hopes of two things. One, taking up less space, and two, the more that you can get stacked up off the concrete, the warmer the root mass will stay, the better success you'll have over the winter. All right, let's get some of the big guys. All right, here we go. Easily my least favorite part of this hobby, I think. Moving these bigger trees into the garage. So I've got it on my dolly here. Now I just got to manage to tilt it up without it falling off and drag it all the way around the front of the house. Not so bad for the first couple, but boy, after that, I mean, I'm just not in the best shape of my life, so I'm going to be tired. But let's get them moving. Okay. Got this tree around to the side. Normally you want to wait for a few days of no rain so the pots are lighter. Unfortunately, I don't have any time left, so pots are heavy, as you can tell by me being out of breath. But first tree into the garage for this year. So I want to position them to be able to fit as many as possible. And so what I'll do, I'll knock some stuff over here. The bigger trees, I'll try to put in the center. Some smaller trees in front of it. And then I'll try to stack on top of it. Get as many of the trees as I can off the cold cement. You can also take a piece of wood, put a piece of wood under it, give it a little airflow, keep it a little bit off that cement. I haven't had a real bad issue with it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I think the most important thing is making sure you give those trees a cup of water every month through the winter to keep them from drying out. Let's get the rest of the trees. So I actually forgot that I had this air layer on. This was not an air layer from this year. This Pretto air layer was from last spring, I believe. And it wasn't fully formed, so I never took it off. Now I gotta try to figure out how to get it off. Alright, so got that air layer off, and it's ready to be potted up. It's another big one, so I'm glad I took it off when it was dormant, because I don't know if that small root ball would have enough energy to feed this large of a tree. So put this with the other ones, and maybe in a different video I'll get these potted up. All right, day one is complete. It's starting to get dark out. The grass is getting wet. It's making it hard to use the tractor. I've got a bunch that need to be up potted. I put off up potting during the summer, figuring I would do it in the fall. I forgot it's cold in the fall. So next year I gotta make sure to do it during the summer. Let me show you what's left. Here's what's left of the back orchard. I still have some, stragglers here or there. Plus what, 3, 5, 7 in the back here. A couple over there, and then I have the whole side orchard to do. So back at it tomorrow. All right, day 2 of moving the fig trees. Almost have the rear orchard done, and then I'll have to do the side. A little bit warmer today, thankfully. It's got to be 40 degrees finally. It's supposed to get up to 50 today. The only problem with getting warmer is the ground that's frozen is going to melt and it's going to get muddy. And the tractor already has a hard time going up this hill that's back here. So I'm going to try to get some of this done before it gets too warm. The side yard, for the most part, I'm going to have to get with the hand carrier because the tractor won't fit through there. So, all right, let's get it done. Okay, we've got pretty much all of the trees moved. Welcome to my garage. Still have a few that we need to up pot. Definitely prefer to up pot in the spring, but tend to also get a little bit lazy sometimes, so I've got a few to do in the winter. But you can see I'm not going to be able to park my car, but we've got the lawnmower and the snow blower in. Teresa's working on the Tetris game to fit a few more things. But between the pots and the spare stuff, not much room left. And you can see some of the stacking we did, but the one downside of not taking cuttings, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is it makes it much more difficult to fit all of your trees in. So the positive is when you take cuttings throughout the winter, they'll be much fresher. The negative is it's very difficult to stack, and it's very difficult to get them in a nice tight formation. So, pros and cons. You need to figure out what works best for you. And I've got a couple trees in here that people have requested other problem now is I got to find where I put them and take the cuttings to send out to folks. But that's pretty much it for storing the fig trees. And then once a month throughout the winter, I'll try to give each pot about a cup of water. You don't want the roots to get waterlogged, but you do want the trees to stay hydrated. And I'll keep that door to the inside cracked so that it stays above freezing in here. I don't see a large difference in my heating bill for the most part, but we are lucky in that we have natural gas heating, which is pretty inexpensive. I'll tend to toss a little heater in here on the floor just in case it gets down below 32. I don't know that it makes much of a difference, to be honest with you, because it's a pretty big space for a little heater, but it at least gives me a little bit of hope that if it does get chilly in here, that heater will add a couple degrees to keep the trees from freezing. And that's pretty much it for the winter. I'm PA Figs. Hope you enjoyed.